Hello, my name is Jim Mullany from SciTech Process Solutions. Today is Tuesday, October 8th, 2019. Today I'm doing a multi-part video on a fully remanufactured semi-tool 270 inch dryer. It turns out there's two purchase orders for this project. We don't give our customers' names out on our videos because they're loaded to our YouTube channel for their acceptance, but I'll give you both purchase orders. The first one was for the refurbishment of their system. It's their PO number P1901855. The customer also decided to upgrade the technology to the state-of-the-art SlickDevice controller. We'll talk about this in more detail on the second video, but that purchase order number is P1903047. For this first video, as you can see, that we have no skins on the tool. This is going to be real short. I just want to go over the quality of our remanufacturing process. As you can see, we have multiple tools in final test here. And so what I'd like to do is on the video, just show you our rebuild, the quality of how everything looks. But when I do the next video, when we put the skins back on this tool, there's a long dry section, so I'll talk more about our remanufacturing. But you know, we can see, we mark all of our parts, the 20 PSI sensors, all the ACR valves, all of the, in this case, Humphrey valves are marked. We go ahead and we will document the motor part. You won't be able to see this side, but the same concept. On our filter, it's marked. On the N2 heater, it's marked. On our ACR. So as you can see, this system looks like it's brand new. That's part of our remanufacturing process. So I just wanted to get a good idea of the quality of the inside of the system before I put the skins on. So that was really just a quick view of this. So what I'll go ahead and do is we'll stop this video. We will then put the cover back on it, and then we'll start it back up. And Caitlin, when she'll merge the videos that will be sent to our customer for their acceptance. Okay, so we've got the poly back on this tool that we just reviewed. So what I'll go ahead and do, this is a long recipe. We're going to use the customer's recipe, so I'll kind of review this real quick on a SlickDevice. They have a 120-second rinse, which is 2 minutes, a 10-second purge, a dry one for 1 minute, but they have a dry 2 to 800 seconds. I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. What I'm going to do is, once we get into dry 2 and we have about a minute into it, we'll go ahead and turn the video off again because there's no reason to watch it for 12 minutes straight and do nothing. That's just, no one would want to watch the video anyway for 12 minutes straight. They use a different substrate that's some metal plates that have their devices, so they like to have a very, very elongated dry to make sure the actual inside of the cavities get dry, from what I understand. So what I'll do is, once we start it, and I'll start talking about our remanufacturing process. We'll talk about the SlickDevice a little bit. However, if you go to our YouTube channel at scitechprocess.com, there is a lot of videos now on the new technology we have brought to market over the last 2 years on our SlickDevice controller. We find that 90% of our customers that refurb their machines or buy machines from us upgrade to the SlickDevice. Again, taking an older semi-tool, remanufacturing it to our quality level, which is to bring it to like a new standard, and add in our SlickDevice, basically makes this rinser dryer as good as anything you can buy brand new, and with the refurbishment cost and the SlickDevice cost, probably at 15% of what a new rinser dryer costs. So it's a fantastic way for customers to extend the life of their machines while upgrading technology and not have to buy hundreds of thousands of dollars of new rinser dryers at this time. Okay, so I'll go ahead and the substrates are loaded, and I will hit start. To give you a little idea on the SlickDevice we're rinsing, this gives you a graphical overview, rinse, the amount of time left, the RPMs. Green means things are turned on. Right now we have the rinse valve on and the LPP, which means low pressure purge, is on. That's all that really happens at this point during the rinse cycle. When we go into the dry cycle, you'll see some more stuff. One thing to make sure I put in the video, the customer did not send the EMO box, just the EMO, so this is not an active EMO, you can see. Well, they didn't send their box with that, so they have it at their site. All they have to do is put the box in the back and then hook the wire back in, and then the EMO will be fine, so there's not a problem. So while we're doing this, let me talk about our remanufacturing process. So at SciTech, what we do is we take any tool, either out of our stock, doesn't matter what size it is, doesn't matter the configuration it is, and we can break the tools all the way down to the base frame. When I say the base frame, right over here, you can see we're kind of busy. This would be the base frame. That's it, just the by itself. Everything else is torn apart. We then, in our dry manufacturing area, start the rebuild of the process. We rebuild the valves, we rebuild the motors, we do complete testing. If the customers use their own controller, we do the controller repairs. Any defective parts excuse me, would be replaced as necessary. We put in all new tubing, all new Teflon tubing, all new pneumatic tubing. We have a special reprocess of the bowl and electro polish to make the bowls take any contamination out of the system. So we go completely through the machine, build it up from scratch like it was being built as a new manufacturer. We have about 23 seconds left. What happens after the tool is done in the dry build, we have a quality control inspection. Once that inspection is done by another technician, as long as it passes, it'll move to the next step, which I'll talk to you about in a second. So we got 9 seconds, so I'll let it run through the quick purge and go into the dry before I keep go on. Okay, we got 1 second. As you can see now, we're in the purge cycle. It was only 10 seconds. This is a very heavy substrate in cassette. See how smooth it is, though? It's running beautiful. Okay, now we're going to dry one for 1 minute. The typical process for rinser dryers is a high RPM dry one. It's meant to sling the water off of the substrates, the cassette, and the rotor. Then it'll go into the elongated dry 2, which uses the same process, but also uses a hot end 2 and the heater blankets. But they're also used in dry 1. The only difference is if the customer has anti-static, that comes in on dry 2 only. So now there's nothing to do here for a while. So in our dry manufacturing build, assuming the tool passes dry manufacturing, it's brought into the final wet test area, just the head by itself, like this. Not even the configuration. It comes in on a stainless steel table, and it's then hooked up with DI water. All the valves are tested. It goes through multiple process runs. We then have another QC inspection. Assuming it passes, then it gets put into a halfway configuration like this. Now it's in its frame, but no poly, and we don't have all the wires mounted nicely and so forth. Once it goes through all of this, it gets fully tested. We do 50 process runs. Then the machine that's turned over to sales for a video for the customer. And then once we do, what you saw earlier today, the video of it without the poly, we put the poly on in its configuration and do a final acceptance. We have a very, very detailed remanufacturing process. So on the semi-tool spin rinse dryers, we have 100% spare parts. We have motors brand new, amps brand new, heater blankets, sensors, the bowl heaters, all of the upgraded SMC valves, everything's brand new. We can supply anything on a rinser dryer as needed. If you go to our website at sitechprocess.com, you'll see on the left-hand side there's a lot of buttons for different tools. The first 7 are all semi-tool related. The first 3 are the rinser dryers, the traditional ST, the S and the F. The next 3 buttons are the spare parts for those tools. Then the 7th button is for the solvent and acid processors. Besides that, we also have a lot of other tools we work on. We are the #1 remanufacturer of the Integris HTC box washers. We have lots of spare parts on our website on that. We do quite a lot of the high pressure mass cleaners, the Ultra T, Ultratech, K&S, and so forth. We do high and low power microscopes. We do particle counters. We have metrology tools. We do the KLA 10-core tools, the Prometrics tools. So we have quite a large array. If you go to our website, you'll see that. So now we're into dry 2. We have 700 seconds, so we got about 11 minutes to go. We're going to go ahead and turn the video off because there's nothing really to do for 11 minutes. I'll come back and have it turned on with about 30 seconds to go. And we'll review the final step of the tool, and then we can see how everything processed. Okay, we're back on. We have about a minute and 20 seconds. So to kind of review at the end of the process, what happens is at the end of the process, the RPMs wind down. There's a piston back here called the rotor stop positioner, which we go by RSP. That actually shoots out. It has a roller on the end. It hits the cam. It rolls the cam to find the flat. That uprights we call home position, which is 12 o'clock. Once that happens and I hear the RPMs go to 0, I'll hear the door release and I'll be able to open it. First thing I'll do is check for the hot N2 to make sure it's nice and hot. It's going to be hot after 800 seconds. And I'll go ahead and check the substrates. Because this is a long dry cycle, I'll also show you something on the SlickDevice, which is really important, and I'll explain why after. We have about 40 seconds. Our SlickDevice has the capability of 1-button control to have N2 saver, which means when the tool is not running, it can save the N2, and it's automatic. When you load the tool, it starts. At the unload, it stops after a certain time. The problem is that on a long dry cycle, that whole N2 manifold, which is stainless steel, gets super hot, and then that heat can transfer back to the overtemp sensor. So we have an option in there that for long processes, it keeps the N2 on longer to cool off the N2 heater. Okay, 4 seconds to go. There we go. We're going to break down. But I mean break down, not breakdown. I mean slow down. At 70 RPM, you'll hear the rotor stop position fire. There you go. I heard it. Okay. And I just heard the door release. So at the end of the process complete, okay to open the door, successful run, and that means there's been no errors, and I'll show you that. So the way you clear it, you don't have to clear it actually. You can either hit the stop sign, you can hit the acknowledge, open the door. The simple way is just open the door, and it resets. So first let's feel. Yep, ooh, nice and hot. I'm going to look at the substrates here. These are proprietary, so I'm not going to go in detail on so that people can see them, but this is a nice hot cassette. This is definitely warm. Okay. Oops. Put this back in. So let me talk about what I just said about the long dry cycle. If I go into the menu and I go to N2 settings, this is where you can turn the N2 saver on and off. Right now, I just turned it on. So now, when the product's removed, after 20 seconds, it'll keep purging for 20 seconds until the next load is put in. And then we also have it that you can turn it on where if some customers said, well, if we're not around, we'd like to have the bowl purge a little bit, just we feel more comfortable, so we modified our controller to add that in there. But right here, N2 cool down after long cycle. If that's on, you can toggle on and off, that has, excuse me, the N2 stay on longer than normal. So that will, and now let's go back to there we go, the main screen. So this will conclude the video of a fully remanufactured semi-chilled 270 endurance dryer, upgraded to the state-of-the-art SciTech SlickDevice controller. Today again is Tuesday, October 8th, 2019. My name is Jim Mullany. Caitlin is going to work late tonight, and she's going to make sure all these videos get done so we can send them to customers. We're ready to ship these back. We actually do another video for another tool right next door in a second, and then we have a third one behind us. So this week we're trying to ship 5 or 6 complete units out this week. So we'll email this off to our customer. If they give us the verbal or the email acceptance tomorrow, we'll get this thing created and shipped. If there's any questions, feel free to call us at 916-797-9000 and ask for anyone in our sales organization. Thank you.